Thanks. So how did the decision to do a non-VR version of the game come about?
Well, when we announced the game, we set up on the path of making it for VR. One of the things we noticed from the players and the fans was every other comment was, I wish I could play this on PC, I wish I could play this on my PS5. So we knew that there was an audience out there that wanted to have this experience in a non-VR way. So as soon as the VR versions were released, we went right to work on developing the PC console version, because that version you don't need to buy any additional hardware. If you have the machine, you can play it. We want to reach as many fans and as many gamers, as many players as we could.
And to my knowledge, it's not very often that a game goes from VR to traditional gameplay, of course. Were there any difficulties that came with that translation?
Yeah, it's capturing what we did right, the immersion that obviously VR provides for you, and we built on top of that through the history of all the gaming studios, everything we learned, that gameplay elements to add that immersion, bring it to flat screen or traditional gaming on VR headsets. Obviously you have the way your input devices have to change, and we had to bring that from ground up to make it feel responsive to give you the proper control, and yet the speed of gameplay and action, everything kind of had to get rebalanced there, because in VR, the action tends to be a lot slower. People are unresponsive, they're not as good at aiming the weapon. Where here, it's a lot more of a twitch reflex, so we have to rebalance the game towards that way to make it feel really good and juicy and retain all that magic that we captured in a VR version.
Okay, thank you. And then, last question, was there any content that you guys had to cut to do that translation, or was there anything you might have added in this version of the game?
Nothing was cut. Things just had to get significantly changed to some extent and added. The way you have a limitation that's pretty significant in VR of how a story can be told, because you cannot take control away from the player. Because obviously if you take away control of the camera, then you're not in control of your head anymore, and that will make people nauseous pretty quickly. Now we're finally given the freedom to tell a story even in more detail and give proper emotion to our player with Zula Hendricks, and that really kind of shows in a really great way in how the cutscenes and all the story elements unfold. And of course, the visual fidelity increased quite a bit as well, because we're no longer rendering twice, one for every eye. So we have all this extra compute, and that goes into making things like miasma is now physically simulated. When a xenomorph runs through it, you will see part, and you will see movement in air that kind of gives you another, there's something there, right? That anxiety-inducing moment.
Okay. Oh, thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you.